Nightbeat starts right now.
With the second pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select.
I can't explain how much joy that we picked the number 2 and how much lucky we are, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's been a crappy 4 or 5 years, but we're finally back. Spurs, we're finally back, and I can't wait. I can't wait till next season.
Go Spurs, go!
You gotta love a guy in a Castle hat, don't you? An exciting night for basketball, an exciting night to be a Spurs fan. The pick is in, and Rutgers guard Dylan Harper, now a proud member of the San Antonio Spurs. We know about him. His mural's already up at Rudy's Seafood. But the 14th pick, Carter Bryant, a bit of a man of mystery tonight. Mary Rominger joins us now. And Mary, this is the night Spurs fans have been waiting for a long time, ever since they got the number 2 pick in the lottery. We had a pretty good idea who the Spurs were going to pick at number 2. By all indications, they seem to love this kid.
Yes, and that'll be the question moving forward. Are the Spurs back? I like that. But yes, Dylan Harper, one of many one-and-done talents in the 2025 NBA Draft, and he's joining a franchise that seems to align well with his basketball background. Now, Harper comes from an NBA pedigree, and with how highly former coaches and teammates speak of him, you have to imagine it stems from his background, son of 5-time NBA champion Ron Harper. But all that aside, in his one season at Rutgers, the 6'6" combo guard has shown a proven ability to drive, bend defenses, and finish around the rim. Similar skill sets to De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. And Carter Bryant, the 14th pick, is a 6'7" wing. Steve out of Arizona. He also went one and done. Many are calling him a steal. We'll be interested to see if that's true. And he has an inspiring backstory, a grandchild of deaf adults. He knows sign language. And as far as his scouting report, he can knock down shots over defenders, and that's a valuable skill set as San Antonio needs more perimeter shooting. And get this, Bryant and Harper go way back. We'll have more on that and a one-on-one with Harper that Larry Ramirez did right after he was drafted coming up in sports.
All right, I also think we have the Spurs presser, which just kicked off a few minutes ago. Let's check in live with that presser and see what Spurs GM Brian Wright and others are saying at the podium right now.
And he can definitely do that.
You said you were surprised? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a little surprised. We had not at number 2,
right?
But we had Carter pretty high on our board, and actually tried made some moves to potentially go and get him. And so to get him at 14 was a pleasant surprise for us tonight.
What did you like about Carter? Maybe get the possibility of moving up.
Yeah, I think he's super versatile. He's a big wing that we think can guard 4 positions. He spaces the floor well. He's a really good athlete. I think he's a smart young kid, and I think he's got the right character and makeup that we look for. So I think we're excited that he was there. And again, a little surprised, but we think he adds a new dimension to this team going forward.
All right, a little bit more on the Spurs mystery man that we said, Carter Bryant. You saw Spurs general manager Brian right there talking about the Spurs number 14 pick. And, of course, Mary will have more on all of this draft night coming up a little bit later in sports. Let's go to other news now. A warning before this next story. This video may be hard to watch. They are unidentified migrant remains housed in a refrigerated trailer. It's a story we told you about in October, and what Maverick County and the city of El Paso resorted to try and identify the bodies of those who lost their lives on a journey to the U.S. This is what those trailers look like back in October. Full, because they didn't have room for them anyplace else. That is not the case anymore in these refrigerated trailers. Just a few weeks ago, Maverick County officials and a nonprofit finished IDing the remains, sending them back to loved ones, and giving others proper burials, leaving those refrigerated trailers empty.
As of the point of clearing out the EOC morgue, we have not seen any report of any new migrant death that has been reported. I'm grateful, one, that we haven't seen the numbers to the level of where they once were, because any individual should never have to go through something as that.
Maverick County Judge Ramsey Cantu explains with fewer border crossings, it allowed for nonprofits and officials to clear those trailers and get those who died to their families and their final resting place. Now to a man who's trying to legally become a U.S. citizen. Nearly $20,000 spent on the immigration process, and that man who spent his entire life in San Antonio still isn't a citizen. The 19 Zaria Oates shares the struggle his wife is facing after spending years trying to get her husband's citizenship.
We've been waiting 7 years for the interview.
7 years and thousands of dollars later.
We've spent about $15,000 to $17,000 just on immigration fees and lawyer fees.
Kendall Zarita's husband, Carlos, is still fighting for U.S. citizenship.
He's been here since he's been 2, so he's never been to Mexico.
He's been in the U.S. since he was 2 years old, and while it wasn't his decision, he was technically brought here illegally. Then he became a protected person under DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, which prevents a person from being deported.
For his DACA renewals, it's about $1,600 that he goes through every 2 years that we have to keep that in legal status. He has to go through background checks.
But Carlos has also been in the process of becoming a U.S. citizen, like his wife and kids already are.
Would have bet we've spent about $15,000 to $17,000 just on immigration fees and lawyer fees.
And though he's never been to Mexico before, he's now been there for a month because the next steps to get his visa have to be completed in his home country.
So he has to go through medical exam. He has to go pass a background check there. Once he does that, he goes to his interview with the consulate. And because he did have DACA, so he did have legal authorization to be here, but once he left, he surrendered his DACA.
What has life been like these last 30 days without him?
It's been hard. I mean, I work full time. I go to school full time. I have the 4 boys. He's a breadwinner of our family. So like now that he's gone, it's getting we're having a hard time.
Now he's completed all the steps, but still can't go back to where he calls home because his visa to the U.S. was refused.
Technically, it's under a refusal under 221G.
According to the U.S. Department of State website, a visa refusal under Section 221G means the applicant was not eligible for a visa after completing the process. This decision can be reconsidered and overturned, and that's what Kendall is hoping for, to reunite her family.
For DACA recipients, for kids that were brought here, like my husband who was brought here at 2, I feel like they should have a pathway to citizenship.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
He's a fugitive wanted across state lines, and he could be in San Antonio tonight. This 48-year-old is Cristino Paul Rocha. He's wanted in connection to the shooting death of a man in Fresno, California. A warrant for Rocha's arrest issued back in October of 2023. He's believed to possibly be living and working in the San Antonio area with his girlfriend and infant child. He may possibly be working as a dishwasher or cook. If you know anything that can lead to him, you're asked to call 210-224-STOP, 224-STOP. Balloons filled the sky tonight as family and friends came together to remember a 19-year-old that was shot and killed on East Commerce Street this past weekend. Hours before this vigil, the medical examiner confirmed the young man was Jordan Bocanegra. His family says that he was heading home to Hondo when he was shot at a gas station Sunday morning. We spoke to his mother on Monday night as she helped build a memorial at the corner of Polaris and East Commerce. Tonight, about 100 people shared photos and prayed, grieving together as a community.
A parent should never have to go through this, losing a kid before their own lives. He's just an innocent soul. It just hurts. It hurts a lot.
San Antonio police arrested the man accused of killing Jordan. His name is Mark Criollo. As of tonight, he is still in jail facing that murder charge.
The cops called me and said there was a fire and my son is safe. So I came as fast as I could. Mainly the front door and the front window is damaged.
Now to a Nightbeat update. We're learning a lot more about an apartment fire we told you about last night. Live with this breaking news. This was the scene at Barrington Street near Loop 410 and Starcrest. At one point, around 30 fire units were there at the La Silva apartments. Crews say it appears food left cooking on a stove in one of the units, likely what sparked the flames. We know at one point a person actually jumped from a second-story balcony. That person, along with 2 others, were taken to the hospital, all of them expected to be okay. And while there are no severe injuries, damage has been done. One of the residents here who was forced out by that fire says someone stole from her in the midst of all this chaos.
Stuff that was in drawers in my dresser was on my bed. I don't understand why people do this. You're already going through a hard time. Why would you do it?
Re-victimizing a victim. Many residents there are now trying to figure out their next moves. Questions tonight after a man's body was found along the highway this morning. The grim discovery made about 11:30 this morning in a grassy area on I-10 near Console Drive on the northwest side of town. San Antonio police said the man's body had some bruises. They aren't sure exactly how he died. At this time, we don't know the man's name, but officers say he was about 45 years old. Tonight, a man in jail, a woman on the run after a teen girl shot in Seguin. It happened back on June 14th at the Seguin Manor Apartments. Seguin police say the 15-year-old was shot in the arm. 20-year-old Javen Calvin was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And now officers are looking for a woman named Julicia Medrano in connection with the shooting. If you know where she is, you're asked to call Seguin police at the number on your screen.
San Antonio, and these ones are designed to be accessible. Coming up tonight in the Nightbeat, we'll show you the people behind this project.
And as we take a live look outside, we've had a pattern of afternoon showers. It's been great, especially if it rained on your backyard. Are there more to come? We've got your forecast coming up. Raised garden beds, wide paths, vegetables within arm's reach. This isn't just any garden. It's an accessible garden for people with disabilities and veterans. Right now, there's just one backyard plot, but this project is expected to grow, literally. The Night Team's Avery Everett introduces us to the people behind it all.
Cosmos, zinnias.
Where did this idea for an accessible garden even come from?
This idea came from a want and a need.
It's not just herbs and vegetables growing in this backyard garden. Haley and Tomas are planting seeds of change.
As people with disabilities, all the bending and kneeling involved in traditional gardening can sometimes take the joy out of something that's meant to be so joyous.
That's what they're trying to change, and it's the reason they created the group Gardening for Everybody. Their mission is simple. Create spaces where people with all abilities can belong. And after weeks of classes and hours of building,
the second one's coming along.
They've now finished their first accessible garden.
Tomas built these raised garden beds himself with some help from our friends.
Was it hard, Tomas?
Yes. So what does an accessible garden actually mean? Here, there's lots of shade, extra room to move, and raised gardening beds.
What do you want to show her?
The pepper.
Do it in style, Tomas.
What started as a project between two friends has quickly grown.
Now Dustin's able to go all through here. It makes us feel included and like a part of, and it's really a garden for everybody.
And now they're looking to build their next garden.
I think so often in this world, creating with disability in mind is an afterthought and not a starting point.
They're collecting donations and talking to nonprofits to keep this effort moving.
Something is in the works right now to try to make this more accessible to more people.
Accessible?
Yeah.
That's important to you, Tomas?
Yeah.
Affordable and accessible.
With ideas rooted, Haley and Tomas say they're ready to see what's next. Watering their big idea and waiting for the city of San Antonio to watch it grow. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
That is much more than just a garden. I'm glad Avery brought that story.
Absolutely. So wonderful to see that. And hey, the garden might have gotten a little bit of rain in places.
They didn't need the hose. They'd use Mother Nature.
Yeah, and it was spotty. I'll give you that. But hey, at least it's something, and it's helping to keep our temperatures pretty average for this time of year, Steve. Take a look at your screen. You can see that the high was 93.
right on average. In fact, over the last several days, our high temperature has either been 91, 92, 93, or 94 degrees for about a week now. We're going to start to see things warm up, though, so enjoy the spotty rain while it lasts. And speaking of that spotty rain, here's a look at where the rain has fallen in the last couple of days. Let's go ahead and take a trip out to the east. Areas near Cibolo saw about an inch of rain earlier today. Over a 2-day period, the Seguin area has seen about an inch of rain, which is great news for them. As we take a look farther to the northwest of town and around downtown area, it's really only been about a trace of rain for the downtown area and near the airport. Meanwhile, SeaWorld, about 3/4 of an inch of rain. Helotes, about 1/4 of an inch of rain. Really an area that's received rain both today and tomorrow, just luck of the draw, is along I-10 there north of 1604. Neighborhoods like Leon Springs, Scenic Oaks, about 1.5 inches of rain over the last 2 days. But tomorrow there will be less coverage of this spotty rain, and that'll continue through the weekend as well. Saharan dust will be noticeable next week. That's the second big headline for us. And then as we look ahead to the holiday, 4th of July, it's entirely possible that we'll be in the triple digits. Let's start with that first headline there, less coverage tomorrow. 75 degrees in the morning in your KSAT 12-hour forecast, 81 at 10. Around noon, 86. Winds will pick up in the afternoon and we'll have a 20% chance for a shower storm fueled by the sun. And so once we see the sunset, our rain chances go away. 92 for the high tomorrow. That 92 is going to feel closer to 100 with a higher humidity. This is a look at the forecast heat index values. It'll feel like 98 in New Braunfels, 97 in Floresville, 97 in Uvalde, 94 in Bernie, and 94 in Kerrville. Now, again, the Saharan dust is going to be something that moves in early next week. This is something that happens every year, but if you're new to Texas or just want a little science lesson this evening, I got you covered. Saharan desert over here in Africa, really all of the dust gets lofted high up into the atmosphere, and the trade winds take that from Africa all the way across the Atlantic, across the Gulf, and into areas into deep South Texas. We expect to see a few plumes of more moderate dust early next week. Hazy horizon for us, and some mild allergies are possible for folks early next week. As we take a look at the peak heat index values across the nation, areas like Louisville, Kentucky, Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C. tomorrow going to continue to be hotter than San Antonio. But you'll notice that things will improve for those folks over the next few days. That's because that heat high is going to move directly over Texas. And by 4th of July, all the way into next Friday, I think we'll be close to 100. I'm calling this, though, the way too early 4th forecast because that's 10 days away. We can sort of guesstimate the temperatures, so close to 100, but rain chances, we really have to wait until we're closer to 4th of July to give you a forecast for rain chances and a fireworks forecast, of course. But as we take a look at the next several days and into the weekend, low 90s, status quo with a few pop-up downpours in the afternoon. And then next week's all about those hazy skies and some Saharan dust.
Did you notice that I was admiring how you did the
air aloft?
The air aloft.
I noticed you were mimicking my moves there, my dance moves.
I'm calling those dance moves the Spivey.
Oh, I love it.
Just in case you wanted. Thank you. All right, so we got a guy we expected, and we got a guy that even the Spurs admitted they did not expect to be there at 14.
Yeah, there were no fireworks tonight as far as trades go for the San Antonio Spurs and really throughout the entire NBA draft. But yes, the Spurs adding a guard that we expected and a wing. We have a full Spurs draft recap coming up for you. And sports director Larry Ramirez going one-on-one with Dylan Harper right after his name was called after the break.
With the second pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper from Rutgers University.
The Spurs have had the Rookie of the Year 2 years in a row now. Do you kind of see it as a challenge to make it 3 in a row for these guys?
I mean, definitely. I think that's definitely a goal of mine, to make it 3 in a row. And I think the coaching staff and I think the players are going to probably make it easy for me to go out there and showcase my talent, so definitely.
The Spurs add Dylan Harper to their backcourt with the number 2 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. How it all went down tonight in Brooklyn in Big Board Sports. The future is shining brighter for the San Antonio Spurs. Tonight in the first draft of the Mitch Johnson era, the Spurs selected 6'6" lefty combo guard. After his completion of 1 season at Rutgers, Dylan Harper, he is now the highest draft pick ever out of the Scarlet Knights program. Now, former Rutgers teammate of Harper, Ace Bailey, was drafted soon after at number 5 by Utah, made for a pretty cool moment. Now, the Spurs are getting a player with high upside out of Harper. He's a master of the pick and roll. He gets downhill and is an elite finisher around the rim. And at just 19 years old, Harper adds to a deep Spurs backcourt that boasts De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. Not to mention, Harper comes from an NBA pedigree. Sports director Larry Ramirez went one-on-one with Harper right after he was selected.
We are joined now by Dylan Harper, the number 2 overall pick in tonight's NBA draft. Dylan, welcome to San Antonio. What does it mean for you to be a member of the San Antonio Spurs?
Man, it means the world to me. I think being from such a prestigious organization like the Spurs and just getting drafted into a great young group of guys, young core, great coaching staff from top to bottom, management, and just everything you want in a program is right there. So just me having the ability to play with them is just honestly amazing.
Tell me your thoughts and your feelings. You heard the commissioner call your name. You get to hug it out with all your family and you walk up on stage. Relive that moment for us.
Man, I almost cried. I think when you get in that moment, like, I got the call with like 4 minutes left, so I'm just sitting there like, please don't cry. Like, let's hold your emotions in for a little bit, and then you can let it all out. And then my mom kept tapping me. So that almost got me. But just seeing how happy everyone was, like, put me through the roof just to see how excited they were for me and just how far we've came.
You mentioned your mom a lot. Why?
Because, I mean, she's the foundation to everything. She's been here through thick and thin, from good times to bad times and everything. So just giving it all to her and just giving her the world.
Tell Spurs fans what they're getting in you as a player and as a young man in the community.
I think as a young man in the community, I think a great person, do everything in his power to put a smile on people's face and just always be happy no matter what. And then from a basketball standpoint, just I think a winner is someone who wants to win and will do whatever the coach asks him to do to win. Just always be that one guy to kind of pick everyone up.
And last thing for me, tell us about your fit, man.
I mean, I got the Versace on the Versace with the Christian Louboutin, all black with a little bit of nice little hit to it.
That's pretty sharp. Thank you for your time. All right, let's send it back to you.
Thank you, Larry. Definitely an emotional night. Now here's a look at the young backcourt that Harper joins. Those are all the players under contract next season. Mitch Johnson has a lot of options to plug in, and GM Brian Wright telling us tonight in the world of positionless basketball, he's not concerned with overlap. And here's a look at how the dominoes fell on the draft board with picks 1 through 6. A big moment for Dallas replenishing their roster with the star forward out of Duke, Cooper Flagg. And at number 6, the Wizards selected former Texas Longhorn Trey Johnson. All right, coming up after the break, we take a look at the Spurs number 14 pick, Carter Bryant out of Arizona. Continuing our recap of night 1 of the NBA draft, after the Spurs selected Dylan Harper at number 2, the franchise added a wing at number 14. The Spurs were high on Carter Bryant out of Arizona. He's a 6'7" versatile guard, capable of guarding possibly 4 positions. That's how general manager Brian Wright sees it. And Bryant goes way back with his fellow draft mate, Harper.
I'm looking forward to playing with my guy D-Harp. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We had a lot of conversations throughout high school, whether I was trying to play together in college, just maybe playing together at some point. So for him to be my draft buddy and being able to both go in the lottery and be able to represent San Antonio is dope. Dylan and I actually met playing AU tournament. We played the New York Rens, and I'll never forget, he was killing us. And I mean, I was the biggest dude on our team, so Coach had me guarding the 5 man. I was like, Coach, like, I promise you I can stop him. And I remember he came and walked over the bench, and he was like, I promise you, you can't stop me.
That's a priceless interaction. I don't think we'll ever forget that one. That's awesome.
They do go way back.
They do.
Obviously. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. We leave you tonight. Thanks for staying up late with us. We'll see you tomorrow.